Hello everyone, welcome back to Durbanites FPL Game Week 6 review, Game Week 7 preview. Guys, pay note to the flashing line there. The deadline is today, 7:30 p.m. Do not miss it. It's the last game week before the next international break. Next game week is in 2 weeks' time, so anything you do now is going to haunt you for 2 weeks. Let's start right at the top of the table, guys. So Aloo Boyz becomes the first team to retain the top spot this season, coming from Game Week 5, a good showing for Game Week 6. A lot of challenges coming up. Look at the changes in the table. Fatih starts losing the grip at the top as well, slipping down the table as well. And both our champions, unfortunately, have dropped out of the top of the table, both sitting in the second half with some work to do. Lots of wildcards and triple captains played in this week, really impacting the scoring as well. Now, with that, let's have a look at how the teams are shaping up in terms of player selections. Four players now showing up on our staples. Erling Haaland, the king, is scoring crazy. He's now owned by 7 out of 10 managers. João Pedro is the next one coming up, even though his returns have not been fantastic. Mo Salah is still hanging on there, as is Antoine Semenyo. So these are the guys that almost everyone is holding on to, so watch them. And then looking at the differentiators, Omar Alderete gets the top spot this week, 17 points for him, followed by Michael Keane, Sean Longstaff, and Danny Welbeck, all of them owned by just one manager and all getting double digits in this game week. Robin Roofs is now owned by 2 out of 10 managers and is doing really well, top goalkeeper currently in FPL. And of course, Gabriel Magalhaes, a lot more ownership as well, and I expect more to jump in based on Arsenal's fixture list as well. Solid defender and a goal scorer this week as well. Now, looking at how that shaped up the teams, very few defensive performances this week with all the goals flying in, but good call out to Ami, Azra, and Zai, all of whom managed to pull at least a stone wall this week. But the real call out here is on the golden boots, going to Didi, myself, and Atta. 50 plus points from the forward line, not something that's easy to do. For me and Atta, the triple captain has really helped. For Didi, a special call out because he did it without a triple captain, which is quite fantastic. Looking at the elite strikers, a lot of them thanks to Erling Haaland this week. Fatih, Suad, Hassan, Zax, my pie is in there, Mohamed Sadiq is in there, Mohamed Amin is in there, and our newcomer Umar are all in there with Erling Haaland as captain. And then we got to call out the other side as well, and Fatih loves being on the hot bench. Second time this season already that she's in with 18 plus points, this time not alone though, joined by Suad, joined by Zai, both having more than 20 sitting on the bench this week. Now, looking at our best possible selection, Robin Roofs undisputed the number 1 for this week, putting Petrovic on the bench with just 3 points. Gabriel Magalhaes, Omar Alderete getting the captain's armband with his 17 points, and Michael Keane also forming the strong back 3. Then you look at Gravenberch, Enzo, Sean Longstaff doing fantastically well at Leeds for 4.9, and Declan Rice as well showing up. And look at that front line, Erling Haaland, Danny Welbeck, and Jared Bowen doing really well. Jared Bowen also quite consistent in his performances so far this season. All of them putting Margehi, Senesi, and Semenyo on the bench. Now, this team would have got you a massive 145 points, excluding a bench boost, and a total of 169, including the bench boost, for a total cost of 93.4. So affordable for everyone that is currently playing the game. Now, what does that mean? Let's look at the matchups. So, looking at the matchups for the next 10 game weeks, we've got to call out that Bournemouth probably looking at a bit of a rougher time. So for those that have Senesi, Semenyo, just think about them on a rotational basis. Fulham shouldn't be a challenge because they have injuries in the front line as well. Crystal Palace, don't forget, are undefeated in the league, and then Notts Forest have been good in the past under new management. Not sure how that'll work, but then 2 big games coming up there, Man City and Aston Villa back to back before they have some green fields ahead of them. Brentford also coming in for some tough fixtures. So do Fulham, especially without strikers that are fit. So the strikers are both doubtful and or injured. Liverpool have been defensively frail. They're coming up against a free-flowing attacking Chelsea team, albeit without Cole Palmer. But then some tough games, at least in at least mentally, if not physically, with Manchester United, then Brentford, Aston Villa, before they take on Man City, who have been perennial rivals with them as well. And then looking at Notts Forest, guys, they are really struggling after Nuno's departure. Ange Postecoglou is still struggling to get his first win, and they take on a rampant Newcastle this week. But looking at the teams that we should focus on, Arsenal for sure. They've managed to do it. They've come out of the first 6 game weeks. Very, very tough fixtures, I must say. And they're in second place, 2 points behind Liverpool. So it's a fantastic run for them. Now they have some great winnable games ahead. So if they don't bottle it, they have a great chance of finishing game week 16 just before the AFCON at the top of the table. Then you've got Manchester City, who again still have some fantastic fixtures ahead. They've got some tough ones coming up, but they have a good squad depth and good form. And of course, they've got Erling Haaland, which do you need more? You've got Newcastle, who also have fantastic fixtures, same as Spurs. Some reds along the way, but really winnable fixtures considering their squad and considering their form currently. So looking at those two, and then Sunderland, who have been fantastic as one of the promoted teams. You can see some good fixtures coming ahead, including the one at United today. It's a chance for them to show that they really are up here to stay and inflict more trouble on Ruben Amorim and his boys. And then you've got Wolves, who after a strong showing against Spurs, almost getting the 3 points last week, have a chance against Brighton, and then Sunderland and Burnley to try and lift themselves quickly out of that relegation zone or be condemned to drop. Now, looking at the player selections as well, Alisson, news coming out of Liverpool that he's out for the next 5 weeks at least. So it's probably November before you see Alisson, probably the end of November before you see Alisson again. Now, Liverpool have lost their first choice backup keeper, Kevin Kelleher, in the transfer season. And so that means that they have a fairly untested goalkeeper coming out for them. Would add that to their defensive frailties, guys, and you can see where teams might go for attacking on Liverpool. Now, from the defensive side, Tino Livramento is out, Tyrone Mings is doubtful, Ryan Aït-Nouri is still out for Man City. Chelsea have got quite a few out at the back. Chalobah's, of course, suspended. Levi Colwill, Tosin Adebayo, and Wesley Fofana all out. Jared Brantwaite as well for Everton, giving Michael Keane the chance to shine. Lucien Masraoui and Lisandro Martinez out for Manchester United. Ola Aina out for Notts Forest. Now that means when we look at the picks, we are kind of spoiled on the goalkeepers. You can always go Robin Roos for Sunderland. Fantastic pricing as well. If you want to have a bit more money in the bank, David Raya is a good call out for the next 6 or 7 weeks. Then you've got Vicario for Spurs, same as that. And you've got then Manchester City's Donnarumma. We're not specifically calling out Nick Pope this week because he does have a tough game coming up. However, going forward, he's also a great call out. Now looking at the defenders, you've got Pedro Porro and Van de Ven that we're calling out from Spurs. You could also go for Cuti Romero in that space based on what you have available in the bank. All of them are great options for Spurs. Arsenal defense, we're calling out Gabriel and Timber, both of them because aside from their defensive capabilities and ability to get defcons, they can also score and or assist. So you have other options there in terms of William Saliba as well, Ben White as well, but not sure whether you would favor those based on the scores that they've got this season. Then you've got Marcus Senesi at Bournemouth as well. Again, a tricky choice. He is fantastic and scoring well, but just think about the fixtures coming up. Ezri Konsa is the best call out we have for Aston Villa in terms of minutes. And then you've got Omar Alderete for Sunderland, who's been doing really well, fantastic last week as well. And then Big Dan Burn, who is a DEFCON master. Didn't do too well last week against Arsenal, but really well worth the shout for the fixtures coming up ahead. Looking at the midfielders, Noni Madueke is out for Arsenal long-term. Madison and Kulichevsky also fighting long-term injuries for Spurs. Cole Palmer's out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. They're hoping at best they can get him quickly after the next international break. Omar Marmoush is out as well as Ryan Cherki. Keenan Dewsbury Hall is out for Everton. And then Karl Mitoma and Ahmad Diallo are both doubtful. Mitoma because of a knock and Ahmad because he's still coming back from some bereavement leave. But there's still a lot of choices, guys. You still want to go Mo Salah if you have faith in him. Tijani Reinders and Phil Foden out of Manchester City, probably the two on-form midfielders from there. And then you're looking at Antoine Semenyo, again, has proven that he can do it in tough competition as well. So he's a good call-out, even though the fixtures are tough. And then you've got the Spurs trio of Kudus, Johnson, and Palhinha, who are really driving that engine. Xavi Simons is also in there, guys, but he hasn't done much since he's been here. So, again, it's really a call up to you whether you think he might be the differentiator that you're looking for. For Manchester United this week, we call up Bruno Fernandes again, as well as Brian Mbumo. Disappointing last week for many that thought they would get the result, but this week against Sunderland, they are at home. They have a chance to pull things out. Let's see how that works. I'm not highly recommending them, but just want to make sure that you're aware. Here's the team to watch now. Arsenal, there's so many options. We're just calling out Eberechi Eze, who has a chance to play many minutes thanks to Noni Madueke's unavailability. Gabriel Martinelli is going to be challenged for minutes, but guys, Arteta is using him as a secret weapon, bringing him off the bench. He's been scoring quite fantastically. Looks like he's really in that space where when he comes off the bench, he's got a lot of pace, he's got a lot of guile, and defenders are tired, and he's really finding the way to score using that. Declan Rice is fantastic in the midfield, a chance for him to pick up some defcons as well, and he's on many set pieces for Arsenal. Morgan Rogers is the call out for creativity from Aston Villa. I know they haven't had a fantastic start to the season. Last week we saw what they could potentially do between him and Watkins. So there's a call out for him. John McGinn has been an absolute beast for Aston Villa this season, so let's maybe give him a call out as well. Ismail Assar at Crystal Palace is probably the one great attacking and creative player that they have, and he has been doing well for them, so let's look at that. And Granit Xhaka from Sunderland, well worth the call out because of his defensive contributions and the way he's been involved in managing the team. Guys, just wanted to call it out, a good pick at a good price as well. Now looking at the forwards again, the laundry list of injuries there. Gabby Jesus is out, Kai Havertz out, Liam Delap out, Johan Wissa is out and possibly back in the next couple of weeks after the international break. But Dominic Solanke is out, as is Randall Colomwani. Ugo Ekitike is doubtful after pulling what seemed to be a hamstring, but Liverpool are saying it was just a bad stretch and he should be fine, but just doubtful for this week. And then as we're talking about, Fulham are in some trouble with Rodrigo Muniz also injured and Raúl Jiménez doubtful, which means that they really don't have an established striker at this moment in time, so they're probably going to use someone as a stopgap. It's a good chance for teams that are playing against them to get away with a clean sheet and possibly dink a few goals in as well. When it comes to the pick, guys, the king is right up at the top. Erling Haaland is having a fantastic season, smashing in goals in Europe and in the Premier League, playing Brentford this week, and Brentford are pretty weak at the back this season, so look at him trying to capitalize on that. You've also got Richarlison from Spurs going up against Leeds this week, so a chance for him to show what he can do ahead of the international break. Arsenal got a call out Victor Gyökeres. He's not been setting the world alight, but he does have a great run now against teams that are not as polished as the teams that Arsenal have faced in the top six, in the first 6 game weeks. So a chance for him to really score against some, let's say, more pliable defenses. So a chance for you to now bring him in before he lets your competitors run away from you. Ollie Watkins, we're still giving him a shout based on his performance last week. Hopefully a chance for him to score again this week. Danny Welbeck as well, based on his performance last week. A chance for him to really continue on that. Jean-Philippe Mateta, Crystal Palace still undefeated. He has been putting in the goals, maybe not so fantastically, but he is been contributing on points, so a chance for you to look at him. Benjamin Šeško as well, scoring his first Premier League goal for Manchester United last week against Brentford. A chance for him to actually start the scoring against Sunderland this week. He's a fantastic unit. He's quite tall. He's quite fast. Manchester United just have to play the right formation for him. This is a debate that's going on. Quite a bit of turmoil happening at United, but again, I think well worth the call out. And then the man who's made a fantastic impact at Newcastle, the team definitely deserve the good news. Nick Waltemar has come in 2 goals in the Premier League already. He definitely is an attack in the air, and he's quite good on his feet as well. This is a good time to get him with Johan Wissa out currently. He gets a lot of minutes in the team. When Wissa is back, we're going to see some rotation, but for now, he's definitely well worth the shout. Alright guys, so that's it for this week. Another quick call out if you haven't seen it on the screen. 7:30 deadline today. Do not miss it. Until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop us a comment as well.